So now that The Crown has debuted its first part of the final season over on Netflix, we're seeing so much peak Diana fashion. So today, I want to really dive into some of her favorite handbags. But before we get into all that, hey guys, my name's Caleb. I post lifestyle and luxury related content every Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. So if that's something you're into, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Consider joining the membership. We have a really fun, engaged community, a full Discord devoted to talking about this stuff. It's a ton of fun. But let's dive in. We're going to look at some of Diana's favorite handbags. Now, Diana, she was known as many things. She was known as, first of all, being one of the most beloved members of the royal family, an avid humanitarian, and I think one of her biggest legacies that she's left behind is her love for fashion and her personal style, which was impeccable. So her style was so on point, so impeccable, so timeless that many of her favorite handbags have been renamed in honor of her. So we're gonna take a look at like 6 or 7 of her most iconic handbags that she's been photographed with that have really, in my opinion, stood the test of time, and several of these have also been reissued within the last 3, 4, 5 years. So we have some exciting handbags to talk about today. It wouldn't be a Diana handbag video if we didn't start off with her most iconic bag ever, the Lady Dior. Now, this bag was given to her as a gift by Bernadette Chirac in 1995. The Lady Dior was initially introduced as the Chou Chou bag, which is, you know, another word for favorite. But after Princess Diana loved it so much in 1995 and 96, they renamed it the Lady Dior because she had ordered it in several colors, several sizes. And I think when you think of Princess Diana like out in the wild being photographed, the Lady Dior is something that you see on her more often than not. She really preferred her black bags, and I think that's going to be a recurring theme. Sometimes we'll see, you know, really fun pops of color, but for the most part, she really stuck to her neutrals. And I think neutrals were really core to Princess Diana's aesthetic because, as you know, she is famous for her timeless, sophisticated style, and I think that's a huge reason why we're still inspired by her style to this day. Now, when it comes to the Lady Dior, she was most often photographed carrying the canage pattern, you know, that beautiful, famous Christian Dior quilting. However, there are a few photos out there floating around of her carrying this gorgeous crocodile version. It's like a beautiful, shiny croc. Stunning bag, but I think, you know, the Lady Dior, it's sophisticated, it's timeless, it's structured, but it's still good enough for every day. And I think that's going to be a recurring theme throughout all of Princess Diana's handbag collection. Another huge aspect of Princess Diana's closet was Ferragamo. She was a huge Salvatore Ferragamo fan, and that is very evident in a lot of her accessories, belts, shoes, most importantly handbags. And this is another instance where she fell in love with a handbag and the house renamed it after her. This is the Princess Diana clutch, which is now just known as the Diana clutch. But this bag, you guys, is stunning. And it was rumored at one point in the 90s, Princess Diana had over 20 of these in her collection in varying colors. Now again, you know, Princess Diana, she's known for her neutrals, her blacks, her tans, her creams, but when she went for a color, she went for it. And there are some amazing photographs of her carrying a green version with a green power suit. She has a beautiful pastel lavender one that matched perfectly with some shoes she had. I mean, this woman, her taste was incredible. I mean, granted, she had access to all of these things. There's a fine line between just having access and then truly understanding, you know, expressing yourself through the fashion, which again was a huge point throughout her life. And as she gained a little bit more independence from the royal family, we saw, you know, things like her heels getting higher, her skirts getting shorter, but she always maintained that sophisticated style that she was known for. Now, next up, again, we're gonna be talking about more totes. We'll get to the Gucci tote here in a minute. I know you're all waiting like, oh, you know, the bamboo tote. We'll get there. Hang on. But first off, I want to talk about the Tote's dye bag. Now, this bag it's stunning. It's like I said, it's one of my favorites in her collection because it's so understated. It's kind of a more IYKYK kind of bag, and she wore it beautifully. Now, she dressed this bag up, she dressed it down, she wore it all the time. Now, this bag was introduced in the 90s, and it was not only worn by Princess Diana, we also saw it on Naomi Campbell, Nicole Kidman, Princess Caroline of Monaco. Like, this bag, it's a mainstay for Tote's. Well, it wasn't. They actually just reintroduced it under new creative director Walter Chiapponi. He's made it a little bit more edgy. He's made it a little bit more functional for modern times. Guys, this bag is stunning. I'm gonna have everything that I can linked down below for you to find. Now, she wore this bag a lot, and I think what helps keep it timeless and kind of sophisticated is the fact that she carried it in that gorgeous neutral colorway. And I've even found photos. She loved this bag so much, she still carried it after it had a stain on the front, which is kind of iconic. And I think that speaks a lot to her as a person, you know, like truly loving something and using it to its full potential. It's a gorgeous bag, you guys. Check it out. I'm gonna say this for every single bag, but literally everything she carried was so iconic, but one of the most iconic bags. It's on the tip of all of our tongues right now just because it's been re-released in, I think it was 2020, 2021. I almost fell victim to the re-release because I love the original so much. It is the Gucci Diana bamboo handled tote. Now, the original version, in my opinion, it's so much better. It's so much chicer. It's so much more understated without the Ophidia hardware on the front, with the GGs. I also like it with the thinner bamboos, don't ask me why. But the version she had is perfection. Like, you guys, this bag is stunning. I have searched high and low for this version of the bag, but it is so hard to find because of course it's from that 80s, 90s era where it's like that man-made material lining that just gets sticky, peels, falls apart after a while, and it is so hard to find one in good carryable condition. So when they re-released the Diana a couple years ago, like I almost shelled out like $4 grand for it. I'm like, no, it's half a Birkin, let's pump the brakes. It is a gorgeous bag, but I'm gonna appreciate it from afar, save space. And again, it's a neutral colorway for Princess Diana. She loved her neutral, timeless aesthetic. That common thread, that commonality throughout all of her looks throughout the years is what's helped her become and stay a perennial fashion icon. She is still inspiring collections to this day, which is phenomenal. Like, her style was on a next level. Now, there's this huge rumor that's been floating around for quite some time that Princess Diana never wanted to carry Chanel or wear Chanel because the CC logo reminded her of Charles and Camilla. That rumor has been unfounded, and I also don't really believe it because she's been spotted a lot in Chanel suiting, Chanel handbags, Chanel shoes, like you name it, she had it. Was it one of her favorite design houses? Like, I don't think she's photographed in a lot of Chanel handbags. I can only think of like 3 or 4 at the top of my mind, but the most important one that she ever wore is now called the Chanel Diana bag. Now, this bag was re-released again in 2015. It was originally designed in 1989 by Karl Lagerfeld, and this was a bag too that I saw myself for the first time in person. We were in Spain and I saw it in the Passeig de Gracia boutique, and it is a stunning bag. It is gorgeous. I would probably prefer a vintage version just because, you know, the gold, the quality, all this, all that. And of course she carried it in black because that's a Diana staple. Now, I want to shake this up and talk about her relationship with Versace. I think that her friendship with Gianni Versace played a huge part in her life, especially throughout the 90s. And she was famously photographed by Patrick de Marchelier wearing the Atelier Versace ice blue gown, which was later on the cover of Harper's Bazaar in 1997. They had such a deep friendship, a deep, beautiful friendship, and she low-key unexpectedly became the poster girl for the Versace brand throughout the 90s, which is 100% a vibe. You have to think back, this was such a magical time in fashion. You had Princess Diana, Elton John, and Versace. A lot of beautiful designs coming out of Miami. She famously wore that gorgeous croc-printed Medusa emblem top handle bag to Gianni Versace's funeral, which was such a stunning bag. It's really hard to find like iterations of that bag online to this day. Like, you don't really see them a whole lot. I think I was searching earlier before I filmed this. I found one from 1995, but it was like in a smooth leather with silver hardware. Even though she wore a lot of Versace looks, this handbag is kind of a curveball for her. Now, I understand she's wearing it to her friend's funeral, but it's very flashy, very splashy for Princess Diana, and it doesn't really seem to fall in line with a lot of her more understated Ferragamo, Gucci, Chanel kind of looks. And I think that relationship between Princess Diana and Gianni Versace gave us a lot of peak, amazing Versace era looks. And it's just a fabulous bag. Now, this wouldn't be a video on Princess Diana's handbags if we didn't touch on her famous cleavage bags. Not 2 words I ever thought I'd say on this channel, but no, this was one of the most photographed women of our time. It is no secret. She employed a lot of tips and tricks when it came to dealing with the paparazzi, especially on her level. She had to do things like, you know, maybe wearing a hat when she didn't want to be photographed, or when getting out of a car, hold a clutch over her cleavage so that way the photographers didn't get a slip of something. A lot of her evening bags, or cleavage bags, were designed in partnership with Anya Hindmark. And a really cute, kind of quirky secret is all of the linings on her bags had an embroidered D on the inside as just kind of a wink and a nod between Princess Diana and the designer. Truly fabulous. Now, I think when it came to evening looks, she allowed herself to play with colors a lot more because, you know, her evening gowns were usually very splashy, very beautiful, very colorful, and she wanted to have either matching handbags or handbags that complemented. So you do see her with a lot of different types and colors and materials. Also famously, she also had a mini Lady Dior for evening events as well. In hindsight, Princess Diana gave us so much through her humanitarian work, being a role model, and through her fashions, and she continues to inspire to this day. And like I said, it's through the use of timeless materials, cuts, silhouettes, and just, you know, her overall sense of style. It really plays through even to today. You have a lot of people still emulating her look. I mean, hello, biker shorts, anyone? Princess Diana, absolutely fabulous. And this was a really fun video to kind of research and look back over photographs and really dive into like some of the history and the meaning behind some of the pieces she wore. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know down in the comments, which was your favorite Lady Diana bag? Do you own any of these, whether from the original run or from the re-releases? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious to hear. Anyway, until next time, guys, stay safe, have fun. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.